This video is going to be about night riding. And one of the things I want to talk about is which are the lights that are going to be the best ones for me to use this season. But by the way, just to give you a little update, let me show you and also give you an update on what's going on with the Santa Cruz and the cranks. I mean, they're working really good. I mean, I haven't had any complaints. They're working perfectly. I've done quite a few rides with it, with the cranks, and no complaints at all. I mean, saved myself a whole lot of money. And the bikes, I mean, and the cranks are working exactly as advertised. Like I said, I paid for these cranks with my own money. I have no complaints at all. But this video is going to be about lights and the best lights that are working for me. If you can see here, I have quite a few lights. I have some lights that I bought on Amazon. Definitely have some lights that I bought at the NiteRider website. And then I have this light called Yoski that I bought on Amazon that is working pretty good. You see here, I have these lights that I bought on Amazon, and they actually work pretty well. But at the time, I was really only doing really light blue trails and mostly green trails, and you don't really need a whole lot of lights for that. If you see here, I have aluminum micro 900. Actually, I have two of those, and I have two of the Lumina 1100 boost. I have two of those. And I just recently bought this Lumina 2500, and I picked up this light called Yoski, and I actually like this light. It's kind of heavy, but it actually works pretty well. One of my buddies has been using this light for about 2 years now, and he hasn't had any complaints, so I decided to go ahead and try it. And it's actually pretty bright too. Along with the lights, I also have the GoPro mount for the handlebar. This one is for the Yoski light, but it can also work with the NiteRider GoPro mount. And of course, I have the NiteRider 35mm handlebar mount. You can actually use it on any size handlebar, and it works really well. I also have the helmet mount for the NiteRider light. And when I bought the NiteRider Lumina 900, it came with these rubber mounts, but I usually don't use these because I've had some bad experiences with them. They tend to break. And also when you buy the Lumina 1100, it comes with the brake light. Now these Amazon lights that I bought, they cost me $15 each. And I actually didn't have any problems with them other than the fact that they tend to run out after about an hour. And as I got better riding and built endurance, an hour just wasn't enough. So I had to stop using them. This is my helmet, and that's the GoPro mount that I use for the lights, and it actually works pretty well. One of the things that I noticed that it's best to use the GoPro brand mount that sticks to the helmet, because when you attach the GoPro mount to this right here, which attaches to your helmet, and the light attaches to this part right here, the GoPro mounts are sturdier. They don't move. Then let me show you what I'm talking about. See, if you take the GoPro sticky mount, the part that attaches to your helmet, and then you attach this to it and put the rubber piece on there like so, it's solid. It doesn't move. So that means that once you attach this to your light, and I'll give you an example, once you attach the light to the helmet like so, it's solid. It doesn't move. So when you have the helmet on your head, the light is not bouncing all over the place. Whereas if you use one of those cheap Amazon aftermarket attachments like this one, this is one of them, and I tried it, and you attach it to the light, to the attachment, it just moves. You see how? And I'll show you. You see? It moves. And that means that when your helmet moves and your light moves, the whole thing moves. And it just feels funny on your head. So I found that the genuine GoPro attachments are the best ones to use when attaching your light to your helmet, especially since the GoPro attachments have these rubber pieces that keeps everything intact. See? And this is how the light looks on the helmet. Okay, so why do I have so many lights? I mean, if you look at it, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 8 different lights. Well, one of the issues that I was having when I was riding is when I'm riding with my buddies, we're usually out there for a good 2 hours, maybe 2.5 hours, right? So you really want to have enough lights at night to be able to see not only what you're doing, but you want to be able to hang out with the lights on when you're not using the bike, when you're stopping, when you're resting, when you're getting a snack or something like that. And if you look on your Strava, you will see something that says moving time, and then you're going to see something else that says elapsed time. Well, if you notice, your moving time is usually about a good 30 minutes less than your elapsed time, especially when you're riding with your buddies. At least that's the case with me. We're out there actually riding for about an hour and a half, hour and 20 minutes. But by the time we take the bikes off the rack and start riding, and then we stop, shooting the breeze, you know, trying and retrying different sections or whatever. I mean, the elapsed time, it ends up being a lot longer than our actual moving time. So over the last couple of years, I've just been trying different lights, and I don't really like to waste money. I like to make sure that I get what's gonna work for me. And what I noticed is that I need 900 lumens for at least 3 hours. 3 hours consecutive. And I tried higher than that, and I've tried lower than that with the different lights that I have. And I've noticed that 900 lumens is just about perfect for me at 3 hours. So what happens is that these Amazon lights, even though they're good, I think my riding has gotten a whole lot better. These are some off-brand called LXL or whatever the heck they are. I know that they don't even make them anymore because I tried looking for them anymore and I couldn't find them on Amazon. But what happens is, whereas when I first started riding, I was riding greens and I was riding very light blue trails. Now I'm riding blues and I'm riding black trails. And you really need something fairly bright to be able to see so that you don't crash, you don't run into something. So these lights became obsolete after a few rides. I used to use, well, 2 of these lights on the handlebars, and then I used to have one on the helmet. And it worked okay, but I graduated from these. Now I use something else. Well, I started using something else. One of the other things that would happen with these lights is that the straps, they would break. And I was spending $15 on these lights, and they would last maybe 4 or 5 rides, and then the strap would break, and then I would end up having to buy another light. So I was like, you know what? They don't last very long, and the straps break, and I need to actually see a little bit better. So what I did, I stopped using those, and I use them as an emergency, in emergency cases, you know, like when I don't have anything else to use. And I bought these NiteRider lights, right? So what I ended up doing was buying a 1000 lumen, which is the Lumina 1000, but then Amazon sent me an 1100. I don't know why, but that's what they sent. And I also bought Lumina Micro 900 to use on my helmet. So what I would do is I would use the Micro 100 because it's smaller and lighter, and I would use it on my helmet, and then I would use the 1100 on the handlebar. And that worked great. So I did that for a season, and I ended up buying 2 more because my son was riding with me. And so I had two of one for me, one for him. So I ended up with 4 lights, right? But I then noticed that my riding was getting better and better, and I was lasting longer on the trail. So with that said, on these Lumina lights, the 1100, what happens is on high, all 1100 lumens, they only last 45 minutes. So I would then I would ride using them on medium. And medium for the 1100 is 900 lumens, which is the perfect amount of light. But they literally only last an hour, maybe an hour and 10 minutes. They're supposed to be an hour and a half, but they really only last like an hour and 10 minutes. So the light would turn red and I would get anxiety. I was like, man, I mean, we're still out here, and that's moving time. So, and not only that, but I was using it on medium to be able to last an hour and a half. But then the 900 lumen that was on my helmet, this little thing, I had to also put it on medium, because if I put it on high, which is 900 lumen, this thing would also only last 45 minutes. But if I put it on medium, it would only be like 700 lumens. So not only am I, can't see as well, and my writing is still pretty good, but it would only also last about an hour and 10 minutes. So between these two lights, on medium, one at 700 lumens and the other one at 900, I will get about an hour and 10, an hour and 20 minutes. So that's not sufficient for the kind of writing that we were doing. Like I said, our moving time is about an hour and 30 minutes, but our elapsed time is about 2 hours, maybe 2 hours and 20 minutes, especially if we're exploring and, just shooting the breeze and just, So I started to get frustrated with these lights, not because they weren't bright enough, but because they just weren't lasting long enough. So I started experimenting with different things. So since my son wasn't riding with me as much, I stopped using the small one, which is the 900 lumen. And then since I had another 1100 for my son, I started using that, right? So this one at 1100 lumens, if I put it on medium, it would last me, like I said, a total of about an hour and 20 minutes tops. And at 900 lumens, I was able to ride blues and I was able to ride some black trails at night, which is perfect. But again, the downside is that if I wanted to last longer, then I would have to put it on low. And low for these lights is 450 lumens. And once I had to slip it, switch it to low, I really had to be really careful and I had to slow down because I couldn't see very well. Now, so what I ended up doing is switching lights. And I really like these lights. It's just that I really want to be able to hang out with my friends and not have to have light anxiety, This is where these lights come into play. Now, I have been contemplating buying the Lumina 2500 now for about a year now, but I just didn't want to spend that kind of money. I mean, they were like $200 for this light, and I don't have money like that. So I was like, well, I'll wait until Black Friday. I'll just wait until the Christmas season when prices are low. And then I started seeing the price drop. The price dropped from 199 to like 170, and then 150, and then ultimately it dropped to $119. And I was like, all right, I'll buy it now. So I bought it a couple of weeks ago at $119. Now, the reason I bought this is because while I was testing the other lights, I noticed that the amount of light that I need is at least 900 lumens, right? So if I need 900 lumens, okay, for how long? I want 900 lumens for at least 3 hours. And that's what this light gives me. It gives me 900 lumens for 3 hours. Now, I can put it on high, and high will give me 1500 lumens, but then that's only for an hour and a half of moving time, which is great, right? But again, the elapsed time is what matters most to me, not the moving time. I want to be able to always have light while I'm out there. Now, I can also put it on boost, and on boost, I get all 2500 lumens, which is great. I can see everything, but in all reality, all I need so that I can ride the blue trails and all of the black trails that I ride safely is 900 lumens. And if I want to switch to high because I want to see something a little clear, I can switch it to high and it'll give me 1500 or 2500 lumens for however long I need, and then I just switch it back to 900. And I know that is on 900 because it turns green. So green means 900. When you first turn it on, it automatically sets to 1500, and then you just switch it down one, and that'll put you at 900, and the little switch turns green. Now, so I ended up purchasing this light, and I'm loving this light. The other light that I bought is this one, which is called Yoski, and this is the box. Let me see. It's Yoski. You can get it on Amazon. It's actually it's pretty good. It's solid. I know it's an Amazon purchase, and you got to be careful with Amazon, but this one actually works like it's supposed to. And before I bought it, I knew it was going to work fine because one of my buddies, he has one of these, and he's been using it like for the past 2 years, and he has no complaints. In fact, I used to love it when he was behind me because when I would lower the lumens on the 900, he would be behind me and he would light up the whole path while he was behind me. So I used to love it. So I was like, well, I think I want that light, right? Well, I thought about not buying it because if I bought it, it would be for my helmet, and I don't really like anything heavy on my helmet, but the trade-off is, it'll be very, very bright, and it actually fits pretty good. Dummy me, I put the attachment in the front of the helmet, and it was tipping my helmet forward. So I moved the attachment, the GoPro attachment toward the back, because I was wondering how come my buddy could use that light and he doesn't have any problems. It's that because his helmet came with an attachment at the top, you know, and so that's why he doesn't have that problem. Now I'm happy with the light. So this is my current setup, and this is what I'm talking about when I say that the light turns, when you first turn it on, it's blue, and that's 1500 lumens, and that'll last an hour and a half. But what I do is I turn it down to where it's green, and green is 900 lumens, and that will last. So I could be out there with the light on and not even worry, and it actually lasts all 3 hours. And if I need to turn it up, I just turn it up, because, you know, if the trail gets a little rowdy, it'll be 1500 lumens. And if I want it even higher, press it one more time, it'll be red and blue, and red means 2500 lumens, and it's super bright. Anyways, I'm gonna take the bike out for a night ride, and I'm gonna show you what it looks like at night. And it's so much better when I'm doing black trails and I'm doing blue trails, and I can do them with confidence. I'm not as afraid. I'm still careful, but I have enough lights to jump and to get through some of the technical sections, and without being afraid of hitting something or not being able to see what's on the trail. So stay tuned for the next video, and you'll see what the lights look like at night. And at the same time, I'm still testing this crank, you know, because, you know, you never know. I mean, that thing is from Taiwan. You know, I got to make sure that crank doesn't, you know, take a dump on me. But so far it's been working perfect. All right, stay tuned for the next video.